All right, dear Cut and Sew Tribe, you welcome to Cut and Sew Tribe YouTube channel. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. If today is your first time, kindly subscribe for more interesting tutorial. So today we are going to learn how to recreate this beautiful style. I'm going to show you how to cut and sew it from the beginning to the end. So these are the required materials for this project. I will be using this African print. I have 3 years of African prints here. You can use any material of your choice. You are going to need your doll face for the band on the waist and the one on the skirt. So I have half yard of doll face. So I have my lining, 2 years, my wadding, zipper, and of course your matching thread. So the next thing we're going to do now is I'm going to take us through how to draft half scale basic bodies. If you don't know how to go about it, I have detailed tutorial on this channel on how to achieve your basic body, so you can do well and just check it out. So on my paper here, I have divided my bust measurement into 4. So I have it. So you're going to use your bust measurement to determine this. Now the next thing you're going to do after that is to go ahead and measure your chest line. Whatever your chest line is, you're going to input it. So my own chest line is 9.5, and that is what I am inputting right now. So this chest line is also going to double as your armhole depth. So just go ahead and draw your straight line. It's going to go from the front to the back block. Now after this, now the next thing you're going to do is to input your shoulder measurements. So whatever your shoulder measurement is, you're going to divide it into 2. My own shoulder measurement is 16 into 2 is going to give us 8. So that 8 inches, you're going to bring it down to your chest line just like I am doing, and you're going to connect it together with a straight line like so. And you're going to repeat the same thing for the back. Your shoulder measurement, you're going to take it down to your chest line, and you're going to connect it together with a straight ruler. Now after this, the next thing you're going to do is to go ahead and input your neck measurement. So here I used 4 by 4 for my neck measurement, 4 for the width and 4 for the depth. So that is what I'm doing for the front. I use 4 by 4. This is optional. You can use any measurements of your choice, but here I use 4 by 4. So for the back measurement, for the back neck measurement, I use 4 for the width and 3 for the depth. So I will go ahead and connect it together like so. Can you see it? Just go ahead and connect it together. Now after this, you're going to measure your shoulder slope. For the front, I use 1.5 for my shoulder slope, and I will connect it back to the neck tip. Now for the back shoulder slope, I will use 1 inch. So, and I will connect it to the neck tip. All right, so after this, now we are going to determine our across chest measurement. So from the chest line, I went up by 3 inches, and I'm going in by 0.5 on that point just to get my across chest measurement. So I've marked that place. The next thing I'm doing now is to get my bust measurement. My bust measurement, the bust measurement I'm working with is 41. So 41, it is a circumference. You're going to divide it into 4. Whatever your bust measurement is, divide it into 4 and mark. And you go ahead and connect that your bust to that 0.5 inch you went in with, and you're going to connect it to your shoulder tip. Can you see it? So for the back, you're going to divide that line into 2 equal halves, just like I'm doing. Go ahead and divide it into 2 equal halves, and you go in on that point by 0.5 inch just to get your across back measurement. And you're going to connect that line to that your shoulder tip. So go ahead and measure your bust circumference divided by 4 and you note. So connect the 2 points together to get your armhole curve. So we are done with the upper part of this. So the next thing you're going to do is to measure your bust point. So from your shoulder line, you're going to come down by whatever your bust point is, and you're going to draw your straight line. So after that, I'll go ahead and just input my dart line. I'll be using my nipple to nipple, my bust span to get it. In my own case, it is 8 divided by 2. You're going to divide it into 2, and that is 4 inches. I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back. So on your back, you're going to measure your nipple to nipple, and you're going to draw the line to your chest line, just like I am doing. Now after that, you open up your dart by 0.75 on both sides, and that's going to give us total of 1.5 inch for your dart intake for the front. It is optional. You can use 0.5, you can use 0.75. So for the back, I'll be using 0.5 on both sides, and that's going to give us a total of 1 inch for the dart intake for the back. So we have gotten our darts for both the front and the back. So the next thing is to input your waist circumference. Whatever your waist circumference is, divide it into 4, and don't forget to add up whatever your dart intake is. So in my own case, my waist plus 1.5 for the front, my waist plus 1.5, you know, my dart intake for the front is 1.5. So I'll connect it back to my bust measurement. So for the back, before you measure your waist circumference, you need to tighten up your back. So I tighten up my back by 0.5, and from that point I will measure my waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for my dart intake. You need to return it back, is very important. So and that's what I've done, and I'll connect it back to my bust measurement. So the next thing we need to do now is to insert our under bust measurements. So whatever your under bust measurement is, you know, we need to tighten our under bust. So the under bust measurement I'm working with is 15, and that is what I am measuring right now. So I'll go ahead and draw your straight line. So for your under bust tightening, you need to measure whatever you have as your under bust, like that. My under bust is 32, and whatever you have left is what you're going to use to tighten this. So on that point, I will go in by 0.5 and measure up what I have here. What I have left, I'm going to remove it at the middle there. So, and I'm going to use my ruler, my cuff, to do the tightening. So after tightening your under bust, you're going to bring it all the way down to the waist, just like I am doing. All right, the next thing is to get your overbust tightening. So draw your overbust tightening line, just like I am doing. So come down by like 7 to 8 inches to get that point, and you're going to bring your dart leg up to that point so that you can tighten your overbust. So I'm going to tighten my overbust. I'm going to use 0.5 on both sides just to tighten the overbust, and I'm going to connect it back to my bust point line. So this is taking shape now. The next thing to do is to get our sweetheart neckline. So from my neck, from my center neckline, I'll come down by 5 inches. So just to get that sweetheart curve. So on that 5 inches, just like I am doing now, I'm going to use my curve to get the shape. Can you see it? Just go ahead and shape it out like that, and that's going to give you your sweetheart neckline. So I'll shape up the other side just like I am doing to get a perfect curve for that place. Now this is going to serve as our yoke. Can you see it? So after this, now before I cut out this pattern, I'm going to insert my bust dart measurement. So the difference between my front and back length is 2 inches, and that's going to serve as my bust dart. So I'll come down by 2 inches from my chest line and connect it to the bust point area just like I am doing. So this pattern is ready to be cut out now. I'll go ahead and cut it out by the side just like I am doing, so that I'll be able to fold my dart. You need to open up the waist dart so that you can close up the bust dart. So go ahead and open it up so that you can close it the way I'm doing. Now after securing it like this, you can now go ahead and cut out all the unwanted parts of this pattern. Now after cutting out your pattern, the next you're going to work on is to cut out your yoke band. It is very important you follow the shape of your yoke. So the width of my yoke, I'm using 1.5 inches, and that is what you see me doing right now. For your band to lay perfectly, please follow the shape of the yoke. Now for the waistband, you can see the way I am bringing the center front and the side front together. Please don't make them overlap too much. Just put them side by side, very close. Now you go ahead and mark out your band width. So I'm using 1.5 inches here as well, so that everything will rhyme. So, and you just connect it together. Use your curve to bring out the shape like so. So you can just write on it your waistband, and you know you're going to cut it on fold. So that is a sign I made there. Go ahead and cut it out like so. So this is going to serve as your waistband. Now you can go ahead and cut out the yoke band as well. So when you want to cut this on fabric, you are going to cut it on fold. So I'll make the sign on it right now, on fold. It must be on fold. And our front patterns are ready right now. I'm going to put them aside, and we're going to cut out the back. So you need to cut out that part because it's not part of the pattern. So I'll go ahead and cut out my back block as you see me doing right now. So our patterns are ready. We'll go ahead and transfer all our pattern pieces to fabric. So I skipped the part of the skirt drafting because this video is really taking longer time than I expected. So if you really want to see how to draft basic skirt, I have detailed tutorial on it. So on this channel, feel free to check it out. For my zipper allowance, I added 1 inch. So that is what I'm doing right now. And on the waist, I added ½ inch. For the side seam, I'll be adding 1.5 inches. This is totally depends on your preference. So go ahead and add ½ inch allowance to the armhole area. Your shoulder, you are going to add ½ inch, and for the neckline, you are going to add ½ inch. So after all these allowances, you can just go ahead and cut out your fabric just like I am doing. So after cutting it out, I'll put it aside and we're going to move ahead to cut our sleeve. Now to cut that sleeve, I'm going to cut it on, I'm going to fold my fabric on bias so as to achieve fullness on the sleeve. So I'll go ahead and fold the two sleeves together. So can you see, that's why I'm folding my fabric triangularly like this. So the wider the lower part of your fabric, the fuller the sleeve is going to be. So just go ahead and measure the length of your sleeve. So for everything to rhyme, I need to just use a angle to check the measurement. So and you just cut out the armhole shape just like I've just done. So can you see it? For your sleeve to rhyme, you need to measure it across like that. And after cutting it, after uh drafting it like so, you can just go ahead and cut it out. So if you don't want to be struggling with your fabric like I'm doing, do well to pin it down. I was not with pin when I was filming this tutorial, so I just go ahead and cut out your sleeves. So I have the two sleeves cut together at once and our sleeves are ready. So just open up that side. So the next thing to do now is to cut out our front pattern from the leftover fabric. So if you watch me closely, you will see that I cut all the bigger patterns before I cut the smaller one. So it's always good, as it's going to help you to conserve your fabric. So I'll just go ahead and cut my side front. So on the hem I added just half inch and the side I added 1.5. So that part, the armhole area, I added half inch, and for that side I added half inch as well. So just go ahead and add all the necessary seam allowance. So to cut the center front, place it on fold. It must be on fold, and you just add all your necessary seam allowance. So I am adding half inch all through. The next thing to do now is to cut out our yoke. So you can use any lace fabric of your choice. So don't forget that your yoke must be on fold, just like I am placing it on the net now. So I will go ahead and add my seam allowance of half inch all through. Can you see it? I'll just go ahead and add my seam allowance and I will cut it out. So I will use double of this. So I'm going to cut two of it. One is going to serve as my yoke and the other one will serve as the lining. This is optional, it totally depends on what you want. So the next thing to cut now is to cut the yoke band. I will add all the necessary seam allowance before cutting it out. So just go ahead and cut out your yoke. You cut it on fold as well. So after cutting it out now, I'll go ahead and cut out the waistband as well. So in my next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to sew all these pieces together. You don't want to miss this tutorial because this is really getting longer than expected. So can you see it? When you open up your band, that is what you should have. So I will just go ahead now and cut out the waistband. So I will cut it on fold as well. So you need to get the placement right. You need to get the placement. I'm going to add half inch up and half inch down, and I'll be adding 1.5 inches for the side because that was what I added to the upper body. So I'll just cut it out. So like I said, I'm going to stop here now. In the next tutorial, we're going to sew this dress together. If you find this tutorial helpful, kindly give us thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting tutorial. Do well to turn on your bell notification so that you'll be notified anytime I upload the next tutorial. I will see you in the next class. Keep practicing. Bye.